Galaxxy. I am Nate Campbell, your host. I am here today, hanging out with my peeps. We're getting ready to talk about another awesome situation that's going on in America. That awesome situation is the mega churches. We're going to talk about how they are, they can't. I'm not saying all are doing bad. Let's get that established. Today I ain't just going to knock them, but we're going to talk about the fact that where's all the money? I'm just saying. What, you buying $65 million planes and you doing all this, that, and other. I just need to know where all the money is at. Somebody say y'all done messed up the church's money. I'm just trying to figure out where them coins be. I'm that old school guy. I need a receipt. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not, and we're going to talk about what some of the pastors are worth. I'm going to talk about it. Because you telling me that Jesus was telling us not to tell us to be poor. I'm not saying be poor, but the Bible does say it's harder for a rich man to walk through, harder for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to make it into heaven. So if that's true, one of you son of a gun's lying. And I'm just trying to figure out who it is. So I want everyone to just listen for a second. You know what I'm saying? I want you guys to listen for a second. I'm going through some of my stuff here, and I'm gonna go through some of my stuff here. Okay, according to the Hartford Institute, a megachurch is defined as a Protestant congregation with a sustained audience of 2,000 plus a week, comprising adults and children at its service across sometimes a handful of campuses. Some churches can attract as many as 30,000 people over a weekend of services. The Hartford Institute further defines megachurches as generally having a charismatic pastor or minister, a contemporary worship format. We're going to talk about that today also. And the ability to be a destination up to 7 days a week for church members. California has 219 of these, followed by Texas with 207. Let's just talk about this right now. If we just talking about mega churches alone and how much great they're doing, my question is simply, how much money are they pulling in? And why is there still hunger in America in the streets? I have to come to the realization that somebody messing up the church's money. And if you're telling me you're doing all these great things for the church in the name of Jesus, the people should be able to say, okay, where the money? I'm not going to call out a whole bunch of names. I'm going to go through some. I'm going to talk about some of the stuff they say. I'm going to show some clips. And I'm also tell you about some churches right here in Jacksonville. There's a big church in Jacksonville. And I have a call coming in right now from Tampa. I think that is Latoya.
Good evening. Good evening.
What's
Thank
going
you for
on?
answering my call.
Oh, thank you for calling in, lady. I just read up on what signifies a mega church. And I really wanted you to come in, and I wanted you to Skype in. So, God, here's what I'm going to do, John. Can we leave her on the call line and we just get the Skype line out? Because I want Toya to basically be like someone I can talk to about this.
A co-anchor.
Well, I can only join one right now at a time on this computer.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't join other callers in.
Right. Okay. So, what about Skype?
It's either one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to have her. We're going to talk for a few minutes and then we're going to let her go. Okay. Toya,
Okay.
give me your spin on the mega churches in America.
Well, churches traditionally have always been, as you know, funded by the community, by the people. It was always for black people, it was for the emotion. That's why you have more females in church than you do men.
Okay,
because
hold on right there.
if I can
hold on right there, Toya, hold on right there.
Mm-hmm.
She spoke about something I want to highlight. Have you guys noticed that the congregation is mostly female in most churches? There's a far outweighs male female is tilted, and there's a reason for that. She was talking about the part of that is emotional. I call it the homosexual indoctrination of the church, because it's feminine. It's feminized. Churches are feminized. I heard a pastor say out of his own mouth, and I can call him on it. He said the women don't need men. Men need women. He basically threw a distinction between men and women needing each other in a relationship situation, almost to put women out there on a beautiful island by themselves that men had to swim to get them. And the sad part about it is, those kind of pastors and preachers that do that are the kind of preachers you watch out for, because if you don't watch them, they'll be the ones that had that woman bent over a desk somewhere. Go ahead, Toya.
But you're absolutely right. And so because of the fact that, they're able to tap into the emotional aspect, and women are emotionally driven, you get a lot of these mega churches or the mega church mentality where they're building these buildings and they live these lifestyles. Because what they do is the pastors subconsciously takes the place of the male influence into a single woman or, a single woman's life. So a woman goes to church thinking, if I can only find a husband, or if God will only send me a man that's like the pastor.
Oh, yeah.
Versus the pastor actually bringing up or teaching and instructing men on how to be the leaders in their home and in their community that their women can support and get behind. That's why you have religions like Islam and Judaism and some of the other religions that don't mirror Christianity, from the standpoint that men are rightfully in their rightful place as leaders in the home. That's why Islam is so attractive to black men. Because
Exactly.
What it says is we're going to deal with the man, and we're going to equip the man on how to lead in his home. Therefore, if he leads in his home, then he will lead in his community. And that woman who's supposed to be a helpmate to that man or submissive and play her role in the family will follow the man because he's getting instruction from other men. So Christianity, in a way, in a sense, to be what it is today, has basically cut that aspect out. So they cut that part of the Old Testament completely out. And so they literally focus on the New Testament, because the New Testament, I call, is unisexual. Basically, you can give the title to whomever you feel like you want to.
Oh yeah, let's talk about
therefore,
something. Let me cut you off right quick. I need for people to hear this. There's a saying in the Bible that a lot of these women that are pastoring will love to use as a defense mechanism for being preachers and pastors in churches. It says, in the last days, I shall pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Never once did it say that you're going to preach. But the sad part about it is, these women usurp authority over men when the Bible simply says, even in the New Testament, that a woman should not usurp authority over a man. So now you have these situations where women and men are at odds about should women preach. I don't particularly care one way or another at this point. But if you're going by what your scripture says, who's telling the truth, who's lying? It's all about interpretation.
It's definitely true. It's just, I know my time on this show is limited. Like I said, thank you for having me. But, case in point, the situation that happened in Tallahassee where the pastor was caught in bed with the wife of one of his congregants in the daughter's room. And when I saw that on Facebook, of course, immediately I was enraged and absolutely hurt, because my heart went out to the husband. And I don't know how many people actually know the story, but really, really quickly, basically, the son of this family was sick at school. And the school tried to call the mother, I guess, who was the first go-to, and they were unable to call the mother. So eventually they called the father again, who was at work. So when they got in touch with the father who was at work, they, expressed to the father, hey, your son's here sick at school. We've tried to get in contact with your wife to no avail. Could you please come get your son from school? And so, of course, like any good parent, the father complies. He leaves his job. He goes to the school. He picks up his son, And they arrive where? To the house, of course, because obviously, the mother, and I'm pretty sure from a husband mindset, he's probably even thinking his wife is at work or she's out shopping or whatever it is, but she must be somewhere indisposed as to why she could not pick up their child. So when he gets home, he hears commotion in his home, not in his bedroom, not in the living room, not in the guest room, not in his son's room, but he hears a commotion in his daughter's room. When he walks into his daughter's room, what does he find? He finds his wife screwing his pastor. Okay? So, of course, like any man, you find a man on top of your wife with your son in hand, right? So, here's the commotion. The pastor jumps up, butt naked, runs out of the house with no clothes on. The mother and the father get into a confrontation. I guess the father assaults the mother. I don't know if he slaps her, punched her, choked her. I don't know. But at the end of the day, she calls the police. When the police arrive, they find the pastor in the bushes still naked, and they take the husband to jail. Okay? So the situation all around now is sad. But this is where the insult to injury comes into play. The pastor goes back to his congregation the following Sunday. Mm-hmm. And so he stands up in front of his congregation, which it was recorded and put it on Facebook, where he says to the congregation, hey, I'm sorry because I hurt you, the congregation. To say that he had a bigger calling on his life to where he should have known better, but succumbed somehow to sin. And as a result of that sin, that he was sorry to his congregants, and that his desire is that his congregants forgive him for his wrongdoing, okay? Mm-hmm. And that he still feels the need to stand in front of that pulpit, in front of that congregation, and teach and preach the word of God that somehow comes from the heavens to him in order to continue on his mission. Now, I'm calling, and I don't know if I can say bullshit on the radio, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'm calling bullshit. Because what you saw based off of that video was that you saw a congregation that was majority of women and some men rallying behind the tragedy. This man did not say out of his mouth that he was sorry to the family in which he destroyed. Exactly. He did not get together with the leaders of the congregation to ensure that father who was arrested was being released at the expense of the ministry. He did not remove himself as a man, and actually seek for the forgiveness of the family in which he destroyed.
Hold on,
so
wait
in
a
essence,
minute.
what he did was, he said, I am in fact above reproach.
Wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. And here's the sad part about that. In all of this, that only man, that black husband, was one that was injured. Because
and those children.
Yeah, and his children. I mean, but she took a vow to that man. That vow was broken to that man. Now, I'm just simply saying, the one person you should be able to trust is your spiritual leader. If you can't trust nobody, you should be able to trust your spiritual leader. But the sad part about it is, it's so much of this going on in these churches. As these churches get bigger, these guys become bigger entities. They become, what's the word I'm looking for? Above reproach. Mm-hmm. And they can do anything they want. Now, what is the blowback in that man's life? What is the blowback on that family? Because let me tell you something. Ain't no trusting that woman no more. That's done. Ain't no going back. There's no coming back for most men where that's concerned. You didn't just sleep with the regular dude. You was knocking the pastor off. You was knocking the voice of God off. You understand me? Mm-hmm. So where does that leave that man in his system of belief? Oh, now I know how the church folk gonna try to spin this. Oh, you can't keep your eyes should be on Jesus. It should never be on that man. And you should never allow a man to come into your life and make you lose your belief system on Jesus. I'm just saying, every now and then it gets rough, but Jesus gonna make it all right. But Jesus wasn't one nailing my wife. Or was it?
This is the thing. You know, the problem I have with the modern day church we have it today is that they would not know or identify who Yeshua was if he slapped him in the face. They have no cognitive identification with the actual bone structure to which makes Christianity what it is.
Exactly.
We're dealing with the superficial exterior, but no one is really digging into the skeletal makeup and foundation of what Christianity is. Because when you're going into the New Testament, and people need to understand, when you're talking about Paul and all these prophets and all these apostles and disciples, there was no New Testament. There are actually books that are not included into the Bible in which you have. And the Catholic Church, for the most part, decided
exactly
what books to include and what not books to include, so that they're able to basically control the narrative.
Exactly.
Okay? But with that being said, at the end of the day, you know, this is what I got from the whole situation in the end, because I literally voiced my opinion, of course, and I'm on Facebook, Latoya Carter. If you look me up on Facebook, I'm there. But this is what I said, basically. This is the drawback I got back from people who were, of course, Christians and ministers alike. They were saying only God is able to judge. Okay? Only God is able to judge.
Hold on,
and
wait a
that
minute.
is not
Wait a
true.
minute. Wait a minute. Doesn't the Bible say you shall know a tree by the fruit it bears?
Right.
That's a judgment call, right?
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
So my thing is, but this is the thing, but that is what people lean on. Only God can judge, and that's not true. And I'm gonna tell you why it's not true. And follow me really quickly, because I know I don't have a lot of time. God judges all. If we believe that there is a superior being, a power and entity, okay, who created everything, right? He has the power to judge all things, okay. But let's put ourselves in the Christianity box. If I say I'm a Christian, Nate, and you say that you're a Christian, Nate, and we say we believe the same thing, and that we're walking together, right, under the same understanding, and you're doing things that are contrary to your confession, I have a right to pull your coattail.
Oh, come on. So tell me you got the right to tell me my slip is hanging.
I have a right to snatch you and be like, hold on, bro. I thought we said because if you think about it, Muslims do it. You can't be a Muslim and say that you are a servant, a slave to the Quran, to Allah, and live your life any way you want to and expect your Muslim brother to co-sign you.
Okay.
They will pull your coattail every time.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, in Christianity, if I say I'm a Christian and you say you're a Christian and we're in fellowship together, that means I'm accountable to you and you're accountable to me, right? That I can live my life and do whatever the hell I want to do. And at the end of the day, I can rely on the whole, well, you know what? Hey, it's my relationship with God. Because what people fail to realize, if you do your research, right, on your faith in general, you will understand that God, Adonai, Jehovah, whoever you call him, in this spectrum, is a tribal God.
Exactly.
He is a Hebrew God. He deals with tribes. You have never seen in no context where God just deals with the individual. Whenever he spoke to his prophets, to deal with what? Group of people.
Exactly. Okay.
He did not send his prophets to 20,000 people individually to tell them something differently. He never did that.
Exactly. And he had one prophet. He didn't have 50. He had one prophet.
Right.
And let's get something established. That prophet was not a billionaire. That prophet was not. So I thank you for calling in. I want you to stay tuned, and I want you to hit us up. Hit me up, or hit me up on Facebook Live, and throw some other stuff in. I want to get that page bumping.
Absolutely. And
let me know you're feeling, because I have another guest coming on, and I'm going to reach out to him in a second. He's be coming on right now. And it's gonna be big. I'm telling you. This I just want this conversation. It's going the way I want it to go because we're talking about exactly what people are doing, exactly
Right.
what people are going. You know, because
Right.
at the end of the day, we need to have a discussion about this. So thank you for calling in.
Thank you for having me. I'll meet you
Thank you
in
for
the
speaking
studio
your
one
piece.
day.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, guys. We're having this discussion, and that's Latoya Carter, and she this young lady she's an Israelite. She's Jew. She's what we consider Jews, but she really knows. I have a lot of friends that have a lot of because I studied the Bible so much. I understand where she's coming from. But the issue is, first of all, I'm trying to set the stage so we can move into the dollar amount that we're talking about these people are worth. And let's get an understanding as to what we're moving towards. Because, no offense, but the church as it stands today, if you read the Bible, is in the same mixed up situation as the church in Jesus' time when Jesus came back. When Jesus came the first time, supposedly, the church was in the same peril that it's in now. You had men stealing from people of the church and condemning them with all kinds of foolishness. So here's my issue. I want you guys to really think about what I'm about to say. You telling me that God will make one man worth 1.1 billion, half a billion, $250 million, but all his people are still suffering? Because I know, I'm just saying, the Jesus they preaching didn't have that kind of money. The Jesus that they talking about one bombing like that. You know? Not the Jesus that they was talking about. I need for you guys to tell me where you see this, how this working out. How does this work for you? I need for you guys to call in at 904-302-7220. And we're going to get even deeper. We just right now just scratching the surface. We're talking about the indoctrination part. We're going to get on into the other part. 904-302-7220. All right, guys. I had a phone call. I had a 414 number call in a second ago. I got Queen Raw TV. Queen Raw TV just hit me up on Periscope. I want people to understand that what we're doing, when I'm looking at these cameras, I'm trying to see what people are saying. So bear with me sometimes because I'm trying to see what everybody's saying. But I have, look, I'm going to tell you just like this. You can't get me with that. You fooled me once. You know what I'm saying? Shame on you. Fooled me twice. Shame on me. We got a call coming in from the 414. Who am I speaking with?
What's up, brother? This 78 Sports TV, brother.
Oh, what's going on, Kevin, man? 78 Sports TV, thanks for coming on, man.
Oh, no problem. Excellent show. Congratulations on the show, man.
Thank you very much. Man, what do you have to say about this topic today? And the topic is, if you want to be a millionaire, start a business. If you want to be a billionaire, start a church.
I agree 120% with that phrase. Religion, my philosophy at least, is most of the pastors and church leaders that I've come in contact with throughout my whole life, a few of them have been genuine, but most of them have the same philosophy as pimps do. Okay.
Okay.
And that's to tell a woman what she wants to hear, or convince her, have enough mouthpiece to convince her to do something that she might not even want to do for you, to benefit you and to fill your pockets up.
Right.
Now, the pastors use that same philosophy. They just use different game, which is religion. Religion is the best opiate that's selling right now.
Wow. Hey, let me say something. I did a study on the placebo effect. And people, man, need to realize religion is the greatest placebo out. There's no greater placebo than religion.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. Because if you want something, if you want to believe something so badly, you have the power of your brain to make that true. I used to work out with this young man who was convinced that he wanted to use steroids, and he thought that steroids was going to help him and all this stuff. And I kept telling him, "Oh, you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it." So he was hell bent on trying to take steroids. So I gave him some creatine tablets, and I told him it was steroids. He took it, and he thought he had so much energy. He thought he was he was telling everybody he was on steroids. He said he could lift heavier. He thought he was a man. See, placebo.
Exactly. See,
But
people don't get it.
Yeah, with the religion, the religion thing, I think that it's a reason why the churches are, no matter what church you go into, especially if it's a black church, you walk up in there and it's going to be 90% women, 95% women in there, and these men have convinced these women to pay them every Sunday, pay me a certain amount of your check, a certain amount of your income. I'm going to buy me a Cadillac. I'm going to dress nice shoes, nice suits. I'm going to buy me a jet. I'm going to have a nice home. And how you going to pay your bills? That's up to you. That's your business. You know? And
God, no. Jesus is going to make a way. Jesus will work it out if you let him.
Oh, right. Absolutely.
Hey, there's an old song. There's an old song we sang growing up. Say, that problem that I had, I just couldn't seem to solve. I tried and I tried. I just kept getting involved. Turn it over to Jesus. I stopped worrying about it. And I'm going to tell you what happened. Them folk put your ass out your house and left you on the side of the road. Oh, yeah. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
See, listen.
Right. And then they tell you the Lord works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, while your ass out there in the rain. God was trying to teach you something. Let me tell you something. Let me explain something to you. Do you know that you have pastors in the world that are worth $1.1 billion?
I definitely believe it. I didn't know that, but I definitely believe it.
$1.1 billion. See, and listen. Adir Mercedo is worth $1.1 billion. And guess where he's located? And it's going to mess with you a little bit.
Where?
Brazil. He is in Brazil, and ain't they down there always whining about not having enough?
Right.
But ain't that where they got that big old white Jesus out there on out there sitting on the mountaintop in Rio de Janeiro?
Right.
Here's my question. You got all them chocolate people down there with a big white man looking down on them. And nobody gets that. And that's not racist. That's true. Because let's talk about something. Imagery is everything. Imagery is everything. Let me explain something to you. When white people have a white Jesus, I have no problem with that. But when that same white Jesus is in a black church, I'm going to have an issue with that. Because now you're looking for that white Jesus to come save you out of your black situation. That ain't never happened. Can y'all and they sell that shit. They make a whole bunch of money off that. They make plenty of money off that. And the problem the problem with that is that you have so many people that are God. That what they call it. They call it being godly, being having a godly sense of fear, godly fear. I should not be afraid of my Savior. I should not be afraid of my God. I should not be afraid.
Right.
I shouldn't be. But there is a problem here. The problem is simply this. We have been taught to fear. And out of fear, we do things like give up that money. Because I'm going to tell you something. In the Old Testament, they talk about one thing, but in the New Testament, I'm looking at the New Testament, they talk about tithe. I'm like, tithe for what? What are we tithing for?
Right.
What are we tithing for?
Absolutely.
I need for us to come to this one realization. What are we doing here?
That's a scam, you know. Jesus, from what I know of the Bible, Jesus hated the tax collector. Ooh. So that's all they doing is taxing people.
Exactly. I made the statement earlier. If we're talking about what it is, here's what we're talking about. I need for you guys to understand something. If the Old Testament is dead, tithes should be dead. Right or wrong? If I ain't stoning homosexuals, there's plenty of them to stone right now. If I'm not stoning wayward women and men, if we ain't doing everything by the letter of the law, tithe is dead. Right or wrong?
Right.
I'm just saying. If tithe is not dead, then we should still be. Look, I'm getting me a baseball bat. I need to go out here and straighten some of these people. So what are we doing here? My question is simple. What are we doing here?
Well, I think people like whatever makes them feel good, whether it be a lie, whether it be whatever it is that makes them feel good. You know what I mean? That's why they say the truth hurts, because usually a lie makes you feel good. You lie to a lot of people lie to their loved ones and, and stuff like that, and tell them, oh, no, I was over here. I wasn't cheating on you, baby. I was over here and all this kind of stuff. See, and in the mind, you know the truth, but you want that lie. You know what I mean? You want that reasonable doubt. And I think that's why I say religion is the best opiate, because everybody's trying to get high, whether it's marijuana, or whether it's alcohol, whether it's cocaine, heroin, whatever it is. And the religious people who go spend their money, this money every Sunday, think they better than the crackhead that's on the street. But you still getting high. You're getting high off of something that's not really helping you. You helping somebody else get rich. And that's the same mentality that the whore has on the street for the pimp.
And the pimp, the pimp got to be taken care of. The whore on the street understands that she got to take care of daddy. Oh, daddy got to have the best. And that's exactly what it sounds like when you're talking about the women in the church and the pastor. Hold on. Chris Stallworth said, question, Nate, do you agree that the churches nowadays lead people to believe that they have to pay for...
You're getting high off of something that's not really helping you. You helping somebody else.
Yes, I do. Let me tell you something. Now wait a minute. Hold on. Those same pastors will tell you that you're doing wrong. And they'll tell you if you're sleeping with a woman and you ain't married to her, that there's a problem. But we've already heard a story about how they nailing every chick in the church they can. But nobody's talking about that. Nobody talking about look here. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna show you how, and I'm telling you, we're gonna get to this money part in a minute. But I'm gonna show you how they trick you. There is something I have to say. I know of pastors right now that have had issues with women in their past, and will have a single woman in their office with no one else around, as if they've never had an issue with women, or they'll be at that woman's house by themselves. Their wife ain't nowhere around. And my question is, does not the Bible say, let not your good be evil spoken of? So as long as he can say that, he can make you believe that he's doing good and nobody knows about it, it's okay. But these are the people that are over your soul and you paying all this money to. Do you realize that being a pastor is better than any pimp could ever ask for? Why do you think a lot of guys that were pimps have become pastors?
Absolutely. They do that because it's a smooth transition. It's a much better hustle, much better money in it in religion.
Tax free.
That's the way it goes, man. People love that. A lot of these, like I say, the women, the whores look at their pimp and say, I gotta keep my pimp sharp. I gotta make sure I give him his money so he can dress the best, so he can outshine the other pimps. And the women in the congregation of the church do the same thing. They like the fact that they get off the bus or they get rides to church, but they like the fact that their pastor got all these different cars and different suits and chastising people about how much money they putting in ties and stuff like that. You go into the church and it look like a player's ball. Everybody dressed up. Women got little short skirts on, and I'm like, come on now, this is ridiculous. I thought this was supposed to be about people, about God. You know what I mean? But it's a fashion show. It's a player's ball.
Exactly. So here, I'm gonna have to let you go. We got like 4 40 seconds before we go to commercial. And I have
Okay, brother.
thank you for coming on. But I want you guys to stay on and keep throwing. Go to LDL Live 1. I'm gonna say LDL TV Live. That's the YouTube page. You know I'm on Nat Turner Campbell on Facebook. Nat Turner Campbell on Facebook, or Nate, experiencethegalaxy.com, on Periscope. I got all these different things I'm working on. Then I want you guys
All right, brother, I'm listening.
stay in, keep listening, keep putting your stuff up, and I'm gonna answer these questions. I thank y'all for coming in. I have another guest coming on right after commercial.
You're watching Experience the Galaxy with Nate Campbell, the only show streaming live on Ustream, YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live.
Tell me, Kenny, how is it you rub my belly so fine with that secret rub of yours? And don't even tell me what you're gonna do next. I love you, Kenny Bear. Tell me, Kenny baby, what you gonna do next?
Kenny Bear's Old Florida Barbecue Rub and Seasoning. Grab a bottle today.
Hi, Billy C. here. I want to talk to you about Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano serves the freshest and finest homemade Italian cuisine with Sal's family recipes from the old country. Sal's incredibly delicious brick oven pizza is the best pizza I've ever had. And I'm from New York. Come join us today on St. Simon's Island in the beautiful Golden Isles of Georgia. We're located at exit 29 off of I-95. Sal's is open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, with private parties available on Sundays. For more information, call 912-268-2328 or go to salsneighborhoodpizzeria.com. Sal's Neighborhood Pizzeria and Ristorante Italiano, where new faces become old friends, and our family tradition is to serve you the very best.
Want to bring the big show to your event? The Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. show will bring the biggest daily boxing show on the planet to your event and take your show from just an event to a big event.
Coming at you from Fort Lauderdale, we're at the inaugural Women's International Boxing Hall of Fame. And joining me right now, I don't want her to beat me up, but one of the most well-known fighters, retired undefeated, Lucia Riker.
With worldwide television distribution, a first-class professional TV set, and a totally HD state-of-the-art production, Billy C. gives huge promotion to your weigh-ins, press conferences, and even promotional events. The big man from the Big Apple knows the fight game, and his professional interviews are the best in the business.
It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C. studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Linda from Southampton.
Hey, Linda from Southampton. What's on your mind?
VelDL TV and Billy C. Boxing give your event the big spotlight with thousands of viewers worldwide.
The best of boxing commentators out there, Al Bernstein. Al, glad you could join us, my man.
Nice. Thank you very much.
What's happening?
Well, we're having a great weekend. Just had a beautiful lunch here at Graziano's. My second straight beautiful lunch here at Graziano's.
Email us today and ask us how, or go to BillyCBoxing.com and click on the Billy C. Now banner. Billy C. Boxing, the right choice to make your event into the big event. You're watching Experience the Galaxy with Nate Campbell, the only show streaming live on Ustream, YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live.
some of this wealth that's been made, and I want to talk about what should be happening, but evidently it's not happening with this wealth. There's a I don't know if I can find this story for you, but could you scroll down some? Down to the down to top 50. Back up. The right there. Okay. Up. All right.
All the way to the top?
All right. Is my sound still on? Because somebody said it's...
Yeah, it was out for a second. I'm having a problem, but you got sound right now.
All right, I have sound now. Okay. I have the top 50, the top 50 ministers, preachers, mega people in the country. Louis Farrakhan is on the list. He's worth about $3 million, they say. Jack Van Imp, Paula White, go down some. Keep going down till we get to the bottom. The bottom. Oh, right there. Go back up. Right there. Billy Graham. Billy Graham. You got several guys worth $25 million. You got Kenneth Copeland, $26.5 million. But let's talk about number 12. There's a beautiful story we're going to talk about. Number 12 is Creflo Dollar. We're going to play something for you from Creflo Dollar.
And truth, because he don't want you to know that you can walk on the water if you can look at Jesus. I got to discredit that man before he starts showing people Jesus. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, if you think it was something for me to believe God, and let me tell you something about me believing God. I can dream as long as I want to. I can believe God as long as I want to. If I want to believe God for a $65 million plane, you cannot stop me. You cannot stop me from dreaming. You can't stop me from dreaming. I'm going to dream until Jesus comes.
All right. He said he going to dream till Jesus comes. You can't stop $65 million jet. Let me tell you something. I'm not as mad with him as I am with them. One more time and play that crowd again. Show the crowd. Show the crowd.
Are you listening to what I'm saying? The enemy has got to discredit the voices of faith and grace and truth because he don't want you to know that you can walk on the water if you can look at Jesus. I got to discredit that man.
I want you to watch the crowds in these these things. More women than men. See, women, and we talked about this earlier, women mentally and emotionally attached to these guys. They want a man that's powerful like him. See, he is the orator. He's over everybody. He's the pastor. And you don't mind him getting a $65 million plane. But what my problem is, if your husband tell you he want a $60,000 car, he'll probably have to get a fight with most women. Now you'll pour your pockets out. Pour your pockets out. But we can't even have the same conversation as husband and wife. I'm gonna tell you something. I grew up in the church. I can talk about this. I was ordained at 22. I was my first wife, uncle, was my pastor. Loved him. But one day she made a statement. I was having a discussion with her about something financial in the house. She made the statement, well, pastor say. I said, ho. Let's get this established. Pastor don't run a damn thing around here. This is my house. This is my house around here. And the problem is, men can't say that no more. They're not allowed to make that kind of statement no more in a lot of cases. I see so many men, I can tell you story upon story. I got two friends in particular that wives told them if they don't believe in God or Jesus, they can't be together. This is the miseducation of the black woman that's killing us. This is breaking us down. Because black men don't have any say in their homes. They can't say, hey, wait a minute. He can't talk about that. He can't talk about what's going on in my house. Because he has led you to believe that everything is good in his house. I know pastors right now, with all this money, will make you believe that every man is supposed to be that way. But let's talk about something. These pastors are 100% racial showcasing. Racial showcasing means that you have a group of people that are allowed to ascend to another level, a top level, and everybody below him is like their life can't be as good as they think it should be because they ain't where he is. But the problem is you're being goaded and fear-mongered into giving these bastards your money. This man just justified for a $65 million jet. They bought it. When you talk about being brainwashed, this is it. I want you guys to watch this next guy. He's number 10 on the list. No. Let's go to the one with the two pastors. The two pastors. Number 13.
Jesse, do you like your plane? Now, I thought that's an odd statement. I said, well, certainly, Lord. He said, do you really like it? And I thought, well, yes, Lord. Then he said this, so that's it? I didn't know how to handle it for me. I went, what? He said, you're going to let your faith stagnate? Now, when he said that, that shocked me. I went, whoa, wait. I literally unbuckled my seatbelt, my plane. I stood up. My pilots looked around and said, do you need something? I said, no, I'm talking to God right now. And he went back to flying.
You couldn't have done that on an airliner.
No, sir. No way.
Stand up and say, what'd you say, Lord?
No.
Okay, no, yeah. And the guy sitting over there saying, what the hell does he think he's doing? You can't do that.
You can't do that.
No. The world is in such a shape, we can't get there without this.
That's right.
We've got to have this. We would have, the mess that the airlines are in today, I would have to stop. I'm being very conservative. At least 75 to 80, more like 90% of what we're doing, because you can't get there from here.
All right, now listen. I used to love the guy with the white hair. I used to love him. I used to love Jesse the Planners. I loved his oh yeah, had that Louisiana. Oh yeah, talk about that Louisiana thing. I loved it. I really did love it. But here's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. Do you that you're being taken advantage of? These men are talking. They ain't talking about helping other people. They're talking about possessions. They're talking about jets. And they want to justify that they can't stand up and go, hallelujah, on a plane. The Bible tells you not to act unseemly. That's what it says. These guys are an affront to everything that they're teaching. There's one more guy I want to talk about. And I'm really going to talk about this one because I want to pull something up on him. Number 10 is go ahead. You get the next one. He's talking over.
Because what kind of God wants you to be poor and miserable?
That's the way I feel as well. I mean, I don't know who would say, that you're not supposed to, leave your children better than you were before. And plus, prospering, it's not just, material things. It's peace in your mind and health in your body and things like that. And so there's a belief that you're supposed to suffer more and be poor and to show your humility. I don't see the Bible that way. I see that God came to, Jesus died that we might live an abundant life and to be a blessing to others. I can't be a big blessing to people if I'm poor and broke and depressed and I don't feel good about myself.
Now, okay. This man is worth $40 million, estimated $40 million. He has the biggest congregation in the United States of America. He would make you believe, I'm not saying anybody should suffer. If you work, you should get paid for it. But what is this really about? What is it really about? Is it really about saving souls and reaching people? Is it about amassing wealth? See, I believe that we should all have. And I grew up in a family that was very tribal. If one of us had something, all of us had that same thing. And a lot of folk don't get that. If one of us had, all of us had. And nobody tends to get it. Nobody tends to get it. Everybody's talking. But what about us as a whole? What about taking that money, all that money you're amassing, and feeding the people in America? What about making sure that everything in America is okay? What about making sure that the people around your church, the community around your church is doing good? But they're not doing that. Because if they were, we would have all the damn hunger we got among... I'm just talking about hunger. I ain't talking about education. I'm talking about hunger. But if you don't believe what they believe, they won't help you. When we come back... And I'm back. I'm gonna have Toya. Toya's calling back in, and we're gonna talk about some of these numbers. We're gonna get to the bottom of some of these numbers. And while we're talking about these numbers, we're gonna talk about the significance of these numbers. See, a lot of people can talk and make statements as to why it's okay for these pastors to have all this money. But could you scroll down for me to the bottom 5? Excuse me. There you go. There you go. Bottom 5. There you go. Top 10, basically. Answer the phone. Toya's.
I got it.
Hey, Toya, you back, baby?
I'm back.
Can you turn up my ear?
Can you hear it?
I can barely hear. Keep talking.
Can you hear me now?
I can barely hear you. Keep going.
Testing 1, 2, 3. All right. How can you hear me?
I can barely hear you.
Oh, and hold on one second. Can you hear me now?
I think it's our sign. It's not you, sweetheart.
Okay.
All right, she's on.
All right. Well, here, check it out. Let's talk about the top 10 money earners in the world. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can we hear her? Can we hear her? Can you hear her when she speaks?
I can hear you.
You can hear her?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Number 10 is $40 million a year. Joel Osteen. Can I have a pen?
I can believe it.
All right. Okay, wait a minute. Number 9. $42 million. Benny Hinn.
I believe it.
Robert Tilton, $50 million a year. Janice Crouch, $50 million. Chris Oyaka, I can't pronounce that. Oyaklemoli. He's $50 million a year. All right. Enoch Adeyobu. He's another $55 million. Are you doing the numbers here with me?
I am.
$287 million so far. This is just the top 10.
Wow.
David Oyedepo, $150 million. George Foreman, Mr. George Foreman Grill, $250.
Lord, he's a minister?
Oh yeah, he's a minister.
I didn't know he was a minister.
Oh yeah, he
okay.
is. Pat Robinson, $500 million.
Oh wow, I believe that.
Right? Edir Macedo, $1.1 billion. You talking right at $3 billion for the top 10 guys. I didn't say 3 million. I said 3 billion.
Wow.
Now, my argument is this. Stop talking to me. Stop talking to me about tax-free for these people. You understand me? Let's talk about what could we do with $3 billion put back into the world economy.
Well, let's go one step. Let's go one step farther than that. You have to understand that the money that they're. Can you hear me? Okay.
Could you hang up and call back?
Yes.
I can't hear her. Our sound is messing up, but my argument is simply this. Stop telling me about pastor needing all that stuff. Don't nobody need that much stuff. Especially, do me a favor. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I'm still having a problem. It's something in my headphones. Hello?
Can you hear me now?
Hello?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it's low.
Can you hear me better?
It is what it is. We're going to work with it. Keep your mouth to the phone.
What I was going to say was that we need to realize that the monies that are accumulated in these ministries, a lot of it, majority of it, is donation-based, on top of the other things they invest their money in, and then the book sales, the donations that's given when they go to speak, and so on and so forth. So instead of, if we look at this thing as a business, okay, along with the tax exempt designation that ministry or that religious organizations receive, i.e. Church of Scientology, so on and so forth. If you think about all that goes into what they're receiving, what is the saddest part of everything is the fact that the monies that are being taken in donations, right, are not being put back into the communities which sustain and support the ministries that are there. If we look at Creflo Dollar's ministry, where he's in College Park, Georgia, there is no reason why a multi-million-dollar church should be in the midst of the hood, and there is no type of income-based revenue for those to benefit from as a result of that business being in that community. We hold regular businesses accountable. We say, hey, if you're going to bring your Walmart into our community, then you need to be prepared to support the community by providing jobs. But when we have churches, we never put the same weight on a church to provide for the people in which will sustain that ministry, especially when they are found in predominantly ethnic black communities. We give them a pass each and every time.
Exactly, and then
because somehow.
Then we hold on. Then we'll make excuses for them. Look, listen. I don't particularly care about Benny Hinn. My argument is that what does it look like in the area around the churches? Could you pull that up for me, John? Could you look up the area around Creflo Dollar's church?
Okay, give me a couple minutes.
Right. My thing is, I know it's College Park, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
It is. I don't know if it's distressed as it. I don't know how distressed it is, but I did research on it, but I couldn't remember. I'm not real good at remembering it. I know that the median income is not special.
It's $29,500.
$29,500 a year. $29,500 a year. 29.5. Average median income of a white family is what? $53,000 a year. But in College Park is $29,500. You got a church sitting in the middle of a poor neighborhood, and you round up buying up all that property, but you ain't putting no resources back in the community. Because you being in that community, that money shouldn't be $29,000 a year. damn it should be at least 35 a year. Some kind of way money should filter back in the community. Some kind of way.
Exactly.
But that's not happening. See, my argument is not that they making the money. My argument is that you ain't putting nothing back in the community. And my problem is this: we bitch, moan, and complain, like you say about Walmart and for all these other people, but we don't say shit to the church. Help me understand that. Help me understand.
Well, this is the thing. The reality is this.
Just
like you quoted the figures, that the median income in College Park, Georgia is about $29,000.
Right.
For some reason, the people in that community that surround that ministry don't seem to have a problem with it, and that is a scary thing.
Right.
There is no checks and balances. And it's only until checks and balances become something that is done by the people that actually support these ministries will things ever change. But at the end of the day, we have to understand what Christianity was bought and sold to the slaves. Okay? And anything that was given to the slave was never meant to free the slave. Never meant. So the fact that we are actually still in the situation where we are observing, pacifying, legitimizing a deity that was given by the oppressor is absurd. You cannot be the oppressed and the oppressor.
I keep
you
saying
cannot
that.
be the raped and the rapist.
You can't.
It is impossible. There has to be some type of unilateral checks and balances. There should not be one person at the top that's reaping the benefit of your God, but everybody beneath and below are suffering. It's impossible.
You can't. And you can't expect someone to give you anything. You got to demand it. That's my argument. These pastors aren't expected to give anything. They're not expected to do anything. Oh, God is blessing them. No, you blessing them. You blessing them at your own peril. You come into church, got to park at the back of the lot because your car's smoking. And you ever notice when you go to these churches like this, everybody around that pastor is well off? It's a caste system in church. There's a caste system in churches. The top money earners are usually at the top of the caste.
Right.
And that's what you're dealing with.
Right.
So my issue is this. I'm going to take this. There's a call coming in, another call coming in. I'm going to take this call, and I want you to, are you still listening?
We can put her on hold.
I'm going to put you on hold. Go ahead. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, who goes there?
This is Calvin. Nate, how you doing?
I'm good, Calvin. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Nate. Blessed, and it's good to hear you and wish you much success on your show.
Okay. Okay.
I do want to mention, Nate, if it's okay, another thing that these mega churches do, speaking even of Creflo Dollar, he networks with Kenneth Copeland and Jesse Duplantis.
Come on.
Even when they first came out, you know, there was this network that they had that they're pretty much in bed together. One hand feeding the other, promoting each other.
Literally.
And it's just, I always think back and just see how, you're so right on what you're saying, because there's no outreach in what they do in the communities at all.
At all.
And, and God bless him, we served under a leader, an Elder Robinson, who stayed in an apartment.
Yes, he did. See, this is what I want to say. I want to cut you off right quick. People think I'm mad with the church. I'm not. I don't hate the church.
Yeah,
I don't hate the church. But let me explain something to you. When I first started boxing and making money, people don't know I was ordained minister already. I had been ordained minister for years. And I'm talking about on the pulpit preaching minister. And I walked away from the ministry, and I never hated the church. But what I began to see as I stepped back was there were not very many. I don't hate a man that loves God. I don't hate a man that loves God. But what I hate is a man that takes the love of God and uses it as a money making, a money making instrument and doesn't put anything back in the community. Willie Frank Robinson, I say this in front of anybody. That man, one thing you was gonna do was you were gonna give to the community. And he had a small church. Started out in the storefront. I mean, I drove past the building that he was in the other day. You could literally throw a rock. If you threw a rock through the window in that first church, you would hit everybody in the head. It was that small. And so my thing is, I get what you're saying. No outreach. What else do you see the problem being?
Well, I mean, the biggest problem too is they're in it for themselves. And I guess a question too, because we know only God knows a man's heart, but it also says flee from all appearance of sin, and just some of the things, the extravagance and the things that go on. It's like they feel like their ministry's not a success unless they're making these millions of dollars, and that this money is transformed and goes through
prosperity gospel.
There you go. They're preaching that if you don't have, you ain't blessed.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember, Nate, and I can't remember the quote itself. But there was something Bishop Eddie Long once said about poor people in the church, and there was a big outcry about it. I can't remember what it was, but he took considerable backlash, basically saying, if you were poor, you're cursed.
Yes, he did. And I'm going to show you something. Let me show you something about this. I say this every day. Research conducted by LifeSteez has reported that an estimated $420 billion in tithes and donations has been accumulated by black churches since 1980. An ongoing investigation into the spending of megachurch leaders was first initiated by Senator Charles Grassley around 2008. Look, they will make you believe that if you don't have anything, you're cursed. But nobody talks about the fact that if you come to church with a man and you a man, they don't talk about that no more. As long as you bring in tithe and offering in the church, they don't care what you do as long as money come through the doors.
That's right. They'll compromise their beliefs for the dollar.
Exactly. And they'll compromise. They'll say something about it, but they won't say nothing about it.
That's right. Because it's the dollar, and that's all that matters. And you're compromising. And even the Bible speaks to that. And you mentioned that earlier. And it's just they're so just selfish in how they get, and it just it's just amazing to see how they just can go through their daily life. Exactly. Hey, and in fact, they used to give me that right there in Tampa, Paula White's church. Ooh. Right next door to the IRS.
Yes.
And she still does what she wants, and then pulls the real ultimate when she's at Trump's inauguration. That's a whole nother topic. But
I'm gonna leave that alone. Hey, we're gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna go back the other line. But I'm gonna go back. We're gonna look.
But Nate, I wish the best for your success, and I enjoy the show.
Thank you.
And it's good to talk to you.
Oh, thank you, Calvin. Thank you. Me and Calvin been knowing each other now for more than half of my life. We're back. Did you understand? Did you hear what was going on the other line?
No, I didn't get a chance to hear. I didn't hear anything.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, friend of mine, Calvin Brothers is Calvin Brothers. Only white guy that went to that church. We were a black congregation. He was the only white guy at the church. He married a girl named Trish. They had been married. And Calvin was like that guy that he went to play basketball with brothers. He hung out with brothers. He owned a trailer park. He rented the brothers. And his name is Brothers. Kevin, good dude, man. I say good dude. And we used to laugh about that. I'm like, Calvin is really a white guy. And he hangs out with nothing but brothers. But Calvin understood that church was more than a financial movement. We were taught the church was a spiritual movement. Now we understood that people had to have money to live, because pastor would always say, money is the cure for all things. It cure everything, and nothing can be farther from the truth. I don't care how sick you feel. If you find out you got a whole bunch of money, you find a way to get up and spend it. I'm gonna tell you that's the truth. But I just made the statement: $420 billion since 1980 has went to the black church. Period. What have we done to legitimize the spending of this kind of money into a church? And the black listen. The black church used to be a haven for black people. American churches receives $114 billion in donations in 2014. More than half of African Americans, 53%, report attending religious services at least once a week. More than 3 in 4, that's 76%, say that they pray on at least a daily basis, and nearly 9 in 10, 88%, indicate that they absolutely certainly think that God exists. Our population is 43 million, 43.3 million, 14% of the U.S. population. It went up. Single black women with college degrees outnumber single black men with college degrees 3-1 in major urban areas such as Washington, according to 2008 population. And I guarantee you, when we do the mathematics on that, most of them single black mothers will tell you Jesus is her man. Now, she keep having babies. So evidently Jesus ain't the one that's meeting her over yonder in the bedroom. But Jesus is her man. I'm going to tell y'all right now. A lot of these prosperity preachers making this money, and they still pushing the solidarity of black women to stay together without black men. And this is true. Woman, thou art loose by what the fat dude name is? Yes. TD Jakes. Yes, I with yes, spitting, whispering, woman, thou art loose. I'm gonna tell you a secret. TD Jakes, I think he told a testimony that his first wife cheated on him. He came home and caught in the bed with another man. That's what I think his testimony, if I'm not mistaken. Here's my issue. If you weren't running around behind the church, somebody wouldn't have been running around behind your wife. So he went out and made a lot of money. made a lot of money. And wear them suits that look like them old suits I used to wear that came down to your knees, look like he got a long shirt on. But I make it very much I need to make this understood. I don't hate them for their money. I hate them for the fact that I hate what they're doing to people when you ain't making strides to make the community around you better. I have a problem with you.
I have a problem on a different level. I have a problem from the standpoint of deception. When I say deception, meaning whenever someone talks about the good book, as they refer to the Bible, it is supposed there is an expectation, because any book that you pick up, you learn something from it, so that you're able to apply it applicably to your life and see the results of it. If you spend, who knows, amounts of hours in church and reading the Bible, but for some reason your day-to-day existence has not changed, and you're still waiting on a spiritual genie to somehow magically, just try to stir things around, you're fooling yourself.
No, wait a minute. Hold on, wait a minute. So you telling me that Jesus ain't coming back for us?
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. According to the Bible, that is the book that Christians use for their daily life. If you read it, it says that he's coming back to build his church here. Here. So for some reason we fail to take that into account.
Okay.
Because everything that has been spoken about has been the rapture.
Right. Hold that thought. We got somebody calling. I want to get them in. How you doing?
I'm good.
Who am I speaking with?
Hello?
Who am I speaking with?
Lonzel.
Hey, Lonzel, what's going on, man? I wanted to make sure I got you in. We got a few minutes before I have to go back to go back and close it off. What is your spin on what's going on?
Hey, man, you listening to me right now?
Yes.
Yeah, tell him to turn his computer
No,
down.
it was just that I was calling in because of what the lady was saying concerning the Bible.
Turn your computer down.
Turn my computer down?
Yeah. Okay.
That's better?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was saying that if you read the Bible and it doesn't have an impact on your everyday life, right?
Right.
It's not really something that you should be doing or something to that effect. Okay, here's the thing about that. It's a choice. It boils down to you as a person. Even if you don't believe the Bible, it still has points in it which will actually help a person grow and actually make a person understand that you don't have to look at the person next to you in an evil manner. You don't have to be mean to a person. You don't have to just subscribe to all of the ills that are around us. You can actually look for a better way in life.
Okay.
By making yourself better within yourself.
Okay.
Which would be just like reading a magazine that says how to date.
But guess what? If I read that magazine, I ain't got to pay that 10% of my money. I see. Here's my issue.
No, see, let's talk about that.
Wait a minute. You should have called it earlier because we about ready to get ready to wrap this up. So I'm gonna say this.
Man.
Yeah, you called in late, Lonzel. Don't get mad with me now. But listen, here's what I'm trying to get you to see. You telling me all that sound good in essence, but what has to be understood is this: you telling me that it can make you better, and that's the book should be done with, right? That's what they saying. But at the end of all that, what you doing with everything, when everything is said and done, you bilking the community because you telling me that yours is the only way. Right. Not you, but those people. Okay. So my thing is this, and then you benefit from it, and then the community around you still suffers. Okay. That's my problem.
See, now here's where I totally 100% agree with you. If you took time out and looked in the Bible, you'll find out that tithing has nothing to do with cash money.
No,
tithing
it does not.
I will get
look,
that for you.
Look, we know that. Me and you know that. But I wish you'd have brought your butt on here earlier.
That really matters, though, right? That the fact that we know that and we know what's right.
Exactly.
Because they lying. Everybody knows they lying, especially when you're putting up a white Jesus.
Boy, you better stop talking about the people white Jesus. The women gonna be mad.
Man,
with
I'm
you.
not gonna ever stop. There ain't no such thing. There's no
1/10 of annual produced earnings. What does it say? Formerly taken as tax for support to the church. Yeah. But guess what? If Old Testament is dead, then tithing is dead, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Lonzel. I want you to tune in next week. We're gonna have another high-powered discussion. I got something else I want to talk about next week. I don't know exactly. I'm gonna put it up on Facebook, but we out of here, and I gotta go back. We're out of here. Thank you all for joining me on Experience the Galaxy. Hope that we were able to have a discussion that piqued your attention and got you to think about it and do your own research. But till next time, I am Nate Campbell. This is Experience the Galaxy.